One of the things, let me share my experience with you. It kept me focused in my early years as a Muslim, you know, even to this day. You know, when I became Muslim, you know, I mentioned I had joined the Darul Islam movement. Okay? It was a Jamaat. It was a group of brothers. All right. And that was important. You know, it was like a support. You joined a community. You know, you can't practice Islam or live Islam isolated. You got to be part of the Jamaat. Like the Prophet said, the hand of Allah with the Jamaat. Wherever there's 3 of you, all right, in a village or an area or on a journey, then appoint someone to be the Amir. That's what. So that was the idea. You know, having leadership amongst yourself, living in a non-Muslim society. So this concept, you know, okay, cool. So when I embraced Islam, there was a group of brothers, you know, living those hadiths. They didn't have no scholars to tell them, well, look, you know, this is the interpretation, just to hit on it. We just right from the hadith. Boom. Got to have a leader. You know, this time to pray, you got to have an Imam. And so when we said Imam meant more than just a person who did prayer. He was the leader. All right? And so we, you know, so when brothers embraced Islam, then they joined this Jamaat and whatnot, you see? And there were certain goals and certain objectives, you know, with the Islam. And one of them was to give dawah, to spread the message of Islam. So we were very active. We didn't embrace Islam, and then we were sitting in the mosque, and we were learning the religion, and we were going forward. We was hitting the street. We was hitting the prisons. You know, we was, that's what we did, you see. And one of the things that the Imam established within the Jamaat was a prison committee. And he assigned a brother to be down there of the prison committee, and they would go in the prisons, give it out to the brothers in the prison and whatnot, you see. And then we had the Friday night program where we would go out and do fishing. We call it fishing. You know, where we go out and just invite people to the masjid. Invite them to the masjid Friday night. They would come here. Sometimes we get a gathering like this here. We had one of the brothers give a little lecture, a little talk on the fundamentals of Islam. And many of the brothers in the movement became Muslims that way. See what I'm saying? And then we would get our lessons, and we would learn, you know, Fatiha, we would learn, you know, the surahs, and learn our salah, you know what I'm saying? We would learn basic Arabic and stuff like that. And then you know, and then we would go out, you know, we would be sent out, you know, in the field to teach and to bring others in, you know, give dawah, you know, to our people, you know, in the neighborhood, you know what I'm saying? And so the movement just grew like that. And then we developed institutions, because you know, living in America, you know, the issue became, well, like, what about our children? You know, how we, you know, and back then we were real revolutionary, real radical. You know, we didn't, as we embraced Islam, you know, we wanted to develop some way where we can, you know, have an alternative for our children rather than sending them to the non-Muslim schools. You see, so the sisters got together and started teaching the children in the mosque, homeschooling in the mosque, and then before you know it grew. And then they went to the Imam and said, look, we need a building. And so the brothers got together, put some money together, bought a building, and you know, that was the madrasa. You know what I'm saying? And so we sent our children to madrasa. And the brothers, would, you know, we trained the brothers. We had some kind of program where we were able to train the brothers and sisters in Islam and the other skills that they needed to be qualified on an academic level to teach our children. So we went from one institution to another. You know, we were a community. We were a movement. You know, because Islam. And when you look at the Prophet's example, you know, when the people embraced Islam, they took Shahab. The Muslim wasn't left on his own. There was a support. And that's where the Jamaat come in. You see, and the Prophet was the leader, and he guided the people, and they were trained, and they developed, and they grew, and they grew. You know, so we followed that example. You know, and we developed economics. You know, we was in New York, in Brooklyn, we were the first ones. The Darul Islam movement was the first ones to, listen, we were real radical. You know, I think back and say, wow, you know, young people are. You know how Brother Bobby is, man. Bobby. Oh, that's how we was. You understand? We was, when we got our building, our mosque, Yasi Mosque, the first thing we did was, in the middle of the hood, we was in Bedford-Stuyvesant. You see? So we put that loudspeaker on the building, we called it on 5 times a day. It hit the avenue. And many of the immigrant brothers who came to America at that time, when they walk up, you know, because, you know, Nostrand Avenue was like a main thoroughfare, they couldn't believe it. They hit it on, they said, what is this? They would walk up the block and see the brother sitting outside, you know what I'm saying? Is that the Adhan? I said, yeah. Y'all call me 5 times? Yeah. They let you do that in America? Yeah, we gonna do it.
We gonna pick
They don't do it because it's our community. And
Right.
you know, our people, and it was just a matter of relating, you know, to the neighbors and the people in the neighborhood. This is our tradition. We Muslim, you guys ring the bell. The church would ring the bell, and the Jews got on horn. We call it on, and these are the words and whatnot. And so once you begin to explain that to the people, they had no problem with it. It's unfortunate that today, like we set that precedent way back then, and today you got people in this parts of America, people that live in the south, you know, people who are establishing masjids are having problems with their neighbors, calling it Adhan. And they won't allow them to call it Adhan. Some of them ain't calling. I said, wow, it was like strange, you see. But again, they started out not without having a relationship with the people. You got to connect with the people, talk to your neighbors, man. Once you know, and so this was back then. You know, that's how it was. Particularly many of the immigrant brothers, or the brothers that came from the Arab world, or came from the Indian subcontinent. All right, you know, they had that problem, but we didn't have that problem. We didn't have that problem. You see what I'm saying? Because again, when we embraced Islam, we didn't disconnect with the community.
Right.
Our mothers and our aunts and our, you know, our siblings, you know, they it's like family. You see, and they knew who we was, you know, and what we were about. And so it's a matter of giving dawah and explaining things to the people. We developed a relationship with the local precincts and all of that. In fact, we would go. We had a few incidents where somebody was, you know, the police were looking for someone and they wanted to arrest somebody. They want to come up in the mosque, and the brother said, "You can't come up in here like that. There's an etiquette, that should be a protocol." So so there was an incident that took place in the Nation of Islam mosque in Harlem where somebody got killed. So the police run up there after the brother. So after that, they, you know, the New York Police Department decided to sit with the Muslims and had some kind of guidelines of how you approach a mosque and whatnot. If you got a warrant, then we'll cooperate. But you just can't be run up in the mosque because, you know, again, this is our place of worship. You see what I'm saying? All right, and so we made some guidelines. You see what I'm saying? And we established a relationship with them and whatnot. And Allah was kind, alhamdulillah, over the years, and they respected us because our presence, you know, the Muslims back then, the presence of the Muslims, you know, wherever we were, we cleaned up the community. Our presence was like no drugs. Drug-free zone, you know, that kind of stuff. You know, crime-free zone. You see, where we set the mosque up, and we moved around it, and we had businesses in that area neighborhood. You know, so that presence, you know, and so the police, you know, they appreciated it. so they work with us. They work with us. Alhamdulillah, you see, because they made their job easier. You see what I'm saying? And but alhamdulillah, we had a tremendous impact, you know, on the community. You know what I'm saying? We had our own security apparatus, and so that was my experience of community in Jamaica. You know, institution building. Like I said, we established the first halal meat store. We buying the kosher meat. You know, we became Muslim. We don't be halal meat stores in New York. You see, and so the brothers got together. We need our own meat store. We do our own zabiha, and so alhamdulillah, we made it happen. 143, you know. Court Street, you know, we established the halal meat where we would, alhamdulillah, people can go and shop and buy halal meat, you know, and we had, you know, different other economic projects, you know, to sustain the work that we were doing and whatnot. You see what I'm saying? And we had branches all over the country, you know what I'm saying? And the whole concept was building a community. Building a community. I mean, when we embrace Islam, we need to be a part of the community, our families together, the sisters. There's a sisterhood, and with the kids, and they do things, and have a brotherhood, and we did things. And as young people, you know how we are, man, we like to get physical. So we trained, you know, we were soldiers. We trained, you know, whatever you build, you got to protect. You're living in America, living in the hood. You see what I'm saying? And the gangs and all that kind of stuff. You see what I'm saying? So we trained, we worked out, you know. We did those kinds of things. That's what young men do. We don't have it today. People don't have a clue. You know, we forget that the Prophet encouraged the brothers to learn archery and swimming and wrestling, to be physically in shape, you know what I'm saying, and to be prepared. You know, we read all those hadiths and we accepted them literally, and we put those things in practice amongst our community to protect that community. You see what I'm saying? So we had the security. The masjids. Every masjid that was connected with the Dar Islam movement, subhanAllah, was open 24/7. There was no such thing you close the mosque. You know, it was unthinkable if you closed the masjid. So we sat there pretty good, you know. We live in a time now the mosques are closed, so no wonder people come and vandalize the mosques, rush all kinds of stuff on the mosque. But brothers put security, you understand? 24 hours a day. We had 3 shifts, 8 to 4, 4 to 12, 12 to 8. We were paramilitary. That's how we function, you know. And we was motivated. Yeah, we was motivated. You know, we keep the mosques open. You see, people travel from one end of the country to another. You know, they get stranded. You know, brothers traveling. You know, they break down the highway and they call Yasin Mas, who's calling. So I'm like, brother, well, it's not. This is brother so-and-so, I'm coming from California, I'm coming from Michigan, and so-and-so, brother. I'm trying to find a direction how to get to the masjid. And, you know, if I'm broke, or if my car broke down, and subhanAllah, give me your location, brother. We'll dispatch some brothers out there to give you some assistance, man. If a sister got stranded, or if she was harassed on the bus or the job or something, man, dispatch 2 or 3 brothers over there just to give us some support, man. People back up. That's how we rolled then. We were young.
That's good training.
Yeah, man, it was good training. I mean, we protected the community. You let some sister call us and say somebody on the job was messing with her. Man, brother rolling, kicking in doors. And at one point, the sisters were afraid to call the brothers. Because we do work. And we believe in protecting our women. When we had affairs and we had events and whatnot, then we'd always, the single sisters, they always had an escort. We just got a couple of brothers to
go that way.
Take a sister home, inshallah. Make sure she get in safe. You see. So we were very protected like that. And that's what community does, man. The sisters appreciate it now. Man, we're so weak now as a ummah, you know, because again, you know, that we don't think these things are important. You don't think these things are important, but every group in America, you know, they organize themselves in a way that they put these kind of, you know, protections around themselves, man. You know, you just can't depend on 911 for everything. You know, you call it, but in the meantime, you can hold your own. All right. And so that's how it was, you know. So that was part of our training and upbringing, you know, in the movement, you know. That was nice, man. We was committed to the deen, we committed to the dawah, you know, spreading Islam. So that was my upbringing, and I still think like that. I'm 63. You know, and I'm still committed to that. You see, so I still follow that kind of like that tradition in America. You know, I'm the Amir of the Iqamat Deen Jamaat. You know, with that same spirit that we had in the dawah. You know, when we have brothers all over the country, man, that's connected with me. Besides me being the Imam of the masjid, that's a long island. He said, that's all I know. He said, to be connected with the community. You know what I'm saying? With that vision that the Prophet gave us. And the vision that the Prophet gave us, that I mentioned today in the khutbah, Muslims have forgotten. He said that our mission in life is to establish our deen to the best of our ability. You know what I'm saying? To empower Islam. The Prophet said, Al-Islamu ya'lu wa la yu'la. Islam is over, not under. So we're supposed to lead mankind. You know, we got the guidance, we have the haq, we have the truth. You see what I'm saying? And it doesn't mean you bully people and you abuse people and you oppress people, you terrorize people. No. It's just about setting an example. You know, setting up the model. You know, following the methodology of the Prophet. The Prophet was very peaceful, very kind, very merciful. So this is what I teach the brothers. That's how we got to go at it. You know, we're not terrorists. We're not hoodlums. We're not lawbreakers. You know, we obey the law that we don't establish a deen. Because while America gives us the freedom to practice our religion. You see what I'm saying? So this is part of our religion. We want to set this up, we want to set that up. You see what I'm saying? We ain't trying to undermine, we ain't anti-American, we just pro-Islam. You know, George Bush made the statement, you with us, you with the terrorists after 9/11. He said, no, we with Allah and His messenger. We ain't with Al-Qaeda, we with Allah and His messenger. That was our message. Start the movement. You know, we're pro-Islam. We ain't anti-nobody. We're trying to practice Allah's religion. But that's our duty. You see? And so giving dawah to everybody, every opportunity we get to spread Islam to people in high places and in regular places, that's our job. You know what I'm saying? Like I mentioned in the khutbah today, you know, about the Imam, you know, when he met with George Bush. That's what we're supposed to do. Right. See, we're supposed to share Islam. You know, people like that, like the Prophet shared Islam with the rulers of his time. I mean, opportunity. He sent delegations, he sent letters to them, inviting them to Islam. And he didn't threaten them. He just told them, if you don't accept Islam, then you're going to bear the sins of your people. He didn't sell them no wolf ticket. He didn't threaten them. You see what I'm saying? That ain't the way but that's not the method of the Prophet. I mean, be kind, you be nice and whatnot. And the Prophet set that example for us, you see. So we believe, in the Jamaat, that our mission is to worship Allah. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. That's our individual responsibility. And it's a collective ummah or Jamaat, wherever we are. You know what I'm saying? Establish Islam. You see what I'm saying? And you start from where you're at, and you do what you're able to do. فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُمْ. Fear Allah as much as you can. Do what you can do. You see? And so there's something we can do. We don't have to be afraid to do it. Let's go to work. People appreciate it. You see? One of the things that we do in America, we established the trend in America, and this is the carryover from the Dawah. Most of the indigenous imams, indigenous imams is imam. He's imam, he's amir. But many other masjids, they don't operate like that. The imam is under some board. You know what I'm saying? Who may not even be religious at all. You know what I'm saying? And they control him. You see what I'm saying? A lot of them are very frustrated. They're very learned brothers from Pakistan and Egypt and different places, but they have it's the board. But we established our Jamaat, subhanAllah, man, the imam is Yamir. The buck stopped with him. He the CEO. He got his board under him. He picks his board. You know what I'm saying? And he has mature with the people. He has mature with his board. You see, but they don't, because they don't like a cook, they've got to fire him, get somebody else. You see what I'm saying? No, man, you ain't like that. You see, so we established that precedent. Imam Siraj, Mahad, myself, and all the indigenous brothers, man. That's how we operate our masjids and whatnot. So when people look at us, how do y'all do that? Because we don't, we didn't come from the Muslim world. A lot of the Muslim world come out of colonialism, man. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so, their vision and their way of operating is different from ours. And being a people that lives in America, knowing the people in America, knowing the culture, and we're part of it, you see. And so we just practice Islam. One of the unique things that we did back in the days, I remember, see, American people good people, man. You know what I'm saying? American people, they're phenomenal, man. I got to give it to our people, white, black, and there's a lot of good, decent people in America, And I remember when we first brought the dawah to the prisons, right? And so we had to meet with the warden and the officials to explain how we do things, okay? And so we said, well, the brothers got to have Jummah, okay? And okay, and they got to have their own imam from amongst them. So that was like, because all they can think of the religious leader being the priest. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You see, the reverend or the rabbi, and that's somebody that they hired to do that. But at that point, all this is new for us, so we wasn't hired. We was coming in as volunteers, trying to teach them, what the Muslims will do. You know what I'm saying? All right. And so, but they said it. They said, okay. The brothers have to have a kufi. As Islamic identity. But back then we thought it was the Sunnah. We thought it was obligatory. All right? But it had an impact. Because again, it helped the brothers come away from the ignorance that they were part of, the gangs in the street, and they identified as Islam Muslim, and they allowed us to wear these jalabiyas and kamises, you see what I'm saying? So the inmates were able to wear this, just like we dress, you know what I'm saying? With turbans, and it had such an impact on the population in the prison that the Rastafarian and all the different other groups inside the prison, man, they start growing their beards. When you're in the prison, you have to shave like an army. You have to shave. You see, but we told the brothers have to wear their beards. This is our way of life. And so they had to let the Muslims. So other groups saw what we were doing, and so they were following our lead. So and they wanted to wear their cultural dress, and they wanted to wear their dreadlocks, and you see. But make a long story short, the whole idea that we were able to establish certain things, especially in New York State prison system, one of the most developed in the country. Okay, and I was a part of that, for a while. All right, and the things that the inmates can do inside a prison, in America, people like, what? You see, like Ramadan, and they can do itikaf in Ramadan. Most of the facilities in America have their own masjids. They give them an area and they build it up and make it the masjid for the Muslims. All the prisons, because that's the work we did. So it's something well established in the prison system in America, you know, using the model that we established in New York, you see. And so for a while, you know, the inmates were the imams of the brothers, but that didn't work. You know, it didn't go so far because a lot of the inmates wasn't sincere. They had a lot of issues, man. Some of them, the crime they had just wasn't suitable. It wasn't. And we saw that ourselves, man. You know, the guy's a rapist guy. So we had to change that. What happened was the New York State, you know, appealed to us, you know, and asked us, can we hire some of y'all to be chaplains and whatnot? Because they became very distrustful of the inmate. Because a lot of the guys was crooks, man. Crooks, criminals.
Conflict.
They'll become Muslim and hide behind Islam. Yeah, you see. So that's when we begin to take on the jobs.
Hello, brother. How you doing?
As chaplain.
Bye.
Bye.
How you doing?
You
But it's
got
not well established though in New York State and throughout the country. And all that work came about through the, you know, the Islam movement. You know.
I just felt your whole struggle.
Yeah,
I just felt all of it. You know?
Established all those kinds of things, you know. And our thinking was, here's our thinking. Everything we established inside the prisons, our thinking was, want for your brother what you want for yourself. What would I want if Allah forbid, I get arrested and they throw me in prison? What I want to be able to practice my religion. I want to be able to fast, I want to do itikaf, I want to be able to, you know what I'm saying? So that's how we operated, all right? You know, the brothers got to have their kufis, brothers got to have their beards, brothers got to have their jalabiyas, brothers got to have their miswak, everything. I mean, brothers got to have halal meat. So we had to go argue for, put all those things in place. The brothers got to have their Eids, you know, the Jumas and the Eids and the Eid feasts and stuff, all right? And they gave the brothers all these things, alhamdulillah. You see what I'm saying? And so, alhamdulillah, you know, Islam is very popular in the prisons now. You see what I'm saying? So much so, like a lot of people want jobs in the prisons and whatnot, because they pay good. You know, they pay good. It's a state job. You know, you take care, you work for the state. State take care of you, you state employee. You see? Yeah, you see? So they making like starting like, you know, maybe 70,000 American dollars. You know what I'm saying? A year. It's 75. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Starting now. That's the pay for a chaplain. For some chaplains. So they pay good money. They have all the benefits and stuff. Those are things we developed over the years and whatnot with our initial efforts of establishing Islam in the prisons and so forth and so on.
Hell.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But we started out as Jamaat though. The Imam said, look, go to the prison. We established a committee. You know, AlAmin, you take care of this, and you, brother so-and-so, you do this. And that's what we did. We just went out the facility and just talked to the brothers, and we did what we did. You know, so it was a phenomenal experience, and I'm still feeling it. I'm still trying to do it. Trying to raise up the young brothers and understand what we got to do today. You know, it's the bottom line. Some of the things I've been saying since I've been here, you know, working to establish Allah's deen, man, you know, recapturing the vision of the early Muslims, man. They knew that they were on the truth. You see, you know, they believed in the promise of Allah. Look at the condition of the Muslim world today. You see, man, this ain't right.
Not right, right.
This ain't right. How am I gonna be comfortable? How am I gonna be continuing comfortable? So what should I do? You ain't got to throw no bricks. You ain't got to hurt nobody. But you can certainly organize yourself in a way to build yourself up as a nation, as an ummah, man. To set an example, people say, wow, I like what they're doing. I like what they see. You know what I'm saying? Even the Muslim world, you say, well, look, any Islamic country. What Islamic country we proud of? What Islamic country today that we proud of and say, this is what we want the world to, you know, follow? But we can say, we look at the Prophet's model. And we look at the Mount Khalifa Rashidin and say, that's what we're proud of. You know what I'm saying? We can't say we're proud of the Umayyads. We can't say we're proud of the Abbasids. You know what I'm saying? Or the Ottomans. They have some good people in there, but that's not the model. You know, we can't say the models in Saudi Arabia. No, they do some good things. Oh, what is the model for the world? You know what I'm saying? The Prophet Muhammad's son, Khalifa Rashidin. And so we, you know, so we're away from that. We have lost that spirit. You see what I'm saying? You know, of establishing Allah's deen, you know, in the context where people can look at it and say, wow, where's our Islamic government? I mean, when Obama was running for office, black president.
Yeah,
I put together a treatise on my study with one of the sheikhs there, and we went through a few little books together, and we studied the issue of the Islamic political process. How to select the caliph, how to select me. Yeah, that's what we studied, because the Imam realized that's where my head was at. I done read all the Aqidah books, Ibn Taymiyyah, Ibn Qayyim, Ibn Qudama, Abdullah. I got all of that. How many now? But the Sheikh said, "Nah, I know what you want." I said, "Yeah." I said, "No, I'm establishing the deen in the world." In the world. You see what I'm saying? And so this treatise that we put together, you know, we had to translate it, and so I shared it, and I put it together right after, you know, during the campaign of Obama, because people were talking about voting, and we need a, you know, political process, but they don't talk about this not the political process. You know what I'm saying? It's a topic people don't want to touch. It's dead. It's in the Hadith of Bukhari, it's in the Sunnah, it's there. You know what I'm saying? The people know what it is. The people don't know. You see what I'm saying? So again, you know, we have a model. You know, the Prophet is the model for everything we do. Everything. We just have to believe in it, man. You see, work to it. And that's how we was in the dog. And that's why I still think that way. You know what I'm saying? Like they say, "Oh, you from the old school." I say, "Yeah, but this is what we're supposed to be doing." You see, even in the Muslim world. You know what I'm saying? There's certain things that's lacking, man. Yeah, ideal, man. You know that. You know. And so, you know, so the companions of the Prophet, peace be upon them, they had ambition, they had vision. You know, they were very proactive with Islam, spreading Islam. They were very organized and
Said you old school.
yeah, so we have to be part of. So I encourage brothers and brothers here, you know, to be more organized. To be more organized. You know what I'm saying? Be more organized. You know, amongst yourself. Have an AlAmin, have a set program that you're doing. That's what I'm saying. You know, to develop Islam amongst yourself and your families, that's here and whatnot. Don't let it just be like a thing where we just whatnot. Because eventually, you know, you're gonna come back to America. Or if you come back to America, what you gonna do? America's not a Muslim society. So you have a lot of advantages because the mosques all over the place, so you don't have to worry about building mosques. You just meet in the mosque and have your little dawaniyas like this here, and have your lessons and alhamdulillah, keep your focus and keep you that strong support for everybody, the families and whatnot. But again, you go back to America. What we gonna do? You know, we gonna have a community. We just gonna be Muslims, you know. We just go to the mosque, make eat, go to work, take our families. That's it. We look at all the problems in the community. We ain't building no schools. We ain't building no institutions. With our kids. So many people are realizing that. So many people are building schools. You know, the Muslims, they have schools attached to their masjids and stuff. Because we need that. We need more. We don't have enough. We don't have enough. Because the majority of the children in America, they go to the non-Muslim schools and they ain't good. What am I saying? Ain't good. Ain't good. They're corrupt and violent and they ain't safe. And now you got you got to send your baby to the school and the principal is gay and everybody's gay and it's okay now and everybody getting married and all this stuff and your children sitting in the class and his little classmate got two mommies and two daddies and whatnot. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So this is what they, you know, and the books that they're making now to make this normal, you know, so your children gonna grow up to accept
learning, yeah, homosexuality at a young age.
Yeah, you know, so it's rough. Like we living in the time of you know, so they salam. You see what I'm saying? So we got to stand up for the deen. You see what I'm saying? And not say we disrespect anyone. You know, we don't say people ain't got rights. They got rights. You know, but still in all, we have to be joined good if a bit wrong, and our position be very, very clear. You see what I'm saying? So there's a lot still to be done, you know, in terms of institution building. And a lot of the organizations in America now are doing some phenomenal work. You see, building different things and institutions, alternatives, financial institutions to facilitate brothers and sisters buying homes without the riba and stuff like that. These are great things, man. These things have come to us by the grace of Allah. But you need to be more organized and do it dawah. We're just not doing enough, and we can never do enough in dawah. And again, we go back to the sunnah of the Prophet. When did the Prophet ever stop giving dawah? When? Ever. That was an ongoing practice of his where he always was giving dawah, even in times of danger. He was giving dawah, man. He didn't stop. You see, and he never, again, he was always consistent because that was his mission. Always spreading Islam and sharing with the brothers the vision where Islam wanted to go and how they supposed to lead mankind. They supposed to be following mankind. You see what I'm saying? Because the deen, Allah gave you the deen. كنتم خير أمة أخرجت للناس تأمرون بالمعروف وتنهون عن المنكر وتؤمنون بالله. He said, you are the best nation for mankind. You're the best model raised up for mankind. Why? Because you're enjoying good, you forbid wrong. You see, all of the social ills that's bringing down, you know, the society all over the world. You know what I'm saying? It's all for pays. The drugs, the gambling, the alcohol, you know what I'm saying, the sex, you know, all these are big industries, by the way. Big industries, man. You see what I'm saying? All right? And it's just, I mean, just taking humanity down, man. See? But our job, man, is to speak out against those things, man. And let people know, oh, the reason society is going down because you're all disobeying Allah. You wonder why, you know, half of the babies born in America, man, it's 40%. You know what I'm saying? It's illegitimate. Born out where not? Oh, man. I don't know. You see what I'm saying? 95% of the people in America are promiscuous, meaning multiple partners. Fornicators. You see, these are ills that Allah forbids. You see, we're the Muslims. Joining good, forbidden wrong. Let people know there's another way. So that's all the part of what we have to do. You see what I'm saying? Also want to Allah will hold us accountable. You see, so the da'wah, as long as people continue in their corruption, then our job of enjoying good and forbidden wrong, spreading Islam, it ain't gonna stop. And that's the movement. See, you keep on moving, you keep on calling, keep on inviting, keep on explaining, keep on having dialogue, you know what I'm saying, with people to share Islam. You see, a lot of times people, even in giving dawah, you know, people, how we give dawah, sometimes some people are very hard and firm, but they ain't the way to profit. You know, how you want people listen to you and then you treat them, you know, harshly, man, you know, Allah's kind, you know, Allah's kind. And he gives the kindness when he does not get the harshness, man. You see? So you got to be gentle with people. That's how the Prophet was. He was very successful. We follow that model. We'd be more successful than the Prophet didn't call. He wasn't negative with people. He respected people. The Prophet never heard, he's Catholic, he's Catholic. Yeah, too. We are, he's Catholic. Like, oh, but if we convert, I was a Catholic. Imagine the brother that gave me down, you know what I'm saying? Catholic. But he was warm. Oh my God, he talked to me. You see, so that's how we have to be with the people, man. Nice, gentle. You see, so much so when they see you, they say, "Wow, you know, let me, brother, I got a problem." They'll come to you. Because they see the good in you, they see that you're different, and they'll seek your advice on many different things, you see. And so we got to learn to respect people. Over the years, I've learned. When I was young, I was a little more radical, you know. That's why over time, you start saying, wait a minute, that ain't the way of the prophets or something. Right. The mercy to mankind. So he was always nice to people, you see. And so, alhamdulillah, we have to learn to respect people. We respect the non-Muslims. Respect them. They're human beings. You know, there's a hadith with you know, it's a authentic hadith where the Prophet, the opponent said that part of ibadah is to think good of people. Why should we think good of people? When the Prophet ﷺ said that everybody's born on fitra, the natural goodness that Allah created them. So they're father, not Muslim. You know, even though people who hate Islam the most, they go down to the Prophet ﷺ, Abu Jahl, right? Umar ibn al-Khattab, right? What the Prophet says, oh Allah, bring either one of them into Islam. In fact, strengthen them. Strengthen Islam with one of the two that you love most. And Allah said, who? Umar. Enemy of Islam, right? Enemy of Islam. He was on the way to kill the Prophet, you say. But the Prophet prayed for him. The Prophet prayed for the disbelievers. So we act like it's not part of the down. Pray for George Bush. Pray for Obama. I tell brothers all the time, yeah, pray for it, man. You never know. You never know. So we have to be a little more gentle in our dawah. You know, make people, alhamdulillah, feel comfortable around us. You know what I'm saying? Especially in the climate we live in today where they're always suspicious of Muslims, Muslims are terrorists, Muslims are violent. You know what I'm saying? And so we need to change that image, man. We need to take it back to the Prophet. You know, the Prophet was the most honest person. The most honest person. So much so that his enemies persecuted him for 13 years. But on the eve of his hijrah, he left Ali in the bed, right, to be a decoy and to give back all of the wealth that the people had deposited with him. Amazing. Imagine. So they still believe that in his honesty, you see. And so that's why they did that. Can you imagine? Who does that? Who does that? You fighting somebody, but yet you still you know, when it comes to money and valuable things, you would entrust that to the person that's your enemy. That's what they do with the prophet. You see, because they knew that he would not take their money. You know what I'm saying? All right? And so that's the image we have to have. We have to recapture these kinds of values and these kinds of principles. You see, so when people see the Muslims, they trust the Muslims. And so when people start saying bad things, especially in the media about Islam and the Muslims and so forth, nah, that ain't how the Muslims are. You got extremists in every group. So the extremists is doing what they're doing, but the Muslim overall, man, they're some good people. You know, they look out, they help the poor, they help the needy. You want not to set good example in the neighborhood. That's how we want them to continue to talk about it. But that's how it was back in the days. You see what I'm saying? Before all this crazy violence and, you know, armed stuff. You know what I'm saying? Since 9/11, this has been going like crazy. You see what I'm saying? So you're trying to defend Islam and explain Islam. I want to hear that, you see. But they need to see. But again, we can set that good example. Those of us from the West and Muslim lands and whatnot. You know, alhamdulillah, people get a better image, a good image of Islam and the Muslim. I think it's important in our da'wah.
We thank Sheikh that alhamdulillah he gave us such valuable advices, and inshallah we're gonna just open the question of the session, and I'm the first one who will ask the Sheikh. So actually this is something mashallah, as you mentioned, that we have to be organized and we have to make amir among ourselves, even though we don't have any organization or center. So let's say now, alhamdulillah, we are like brothers, and mashallah, some of them, they are involved in da'wah. Some of them, they are involved, like brother Ahmed and brother, other brothers, they're involved in the street da'wah. They go every, weekend, on Fridays, they put the table, they go. So what's your advice that, also we need to make like an amir of our group?
Sure.
And how the process can go, like.
Well, you would have to. You have to decide amongst yourself how you want to do that. It should be organized, all right? And you know your situation here, how things are, But every organization got to have a head. So you know what I'm saying. So if you're organized effort doing da'wah and whatnot, and then you should have an amir. That's all. You decide how you want to do that. How you going to set that up? All we know is probably people said 3 of you is on the journey. We want you down here. So for all the brothers, from the West, advice from the West for the most part, and and so you functioning in the society. Where of course there's a structure, there's government, and all that, but you don't want to make it seem like you're not organized for the sake of as something to undermine anything in the country. You're just trying to organize your da'wah. That's all. What I'm saying, organize the da'wah. That's all. For those purposes, like all these different al-Qafs and all these different charities and what they have, organization and structure. And so you organize your da'wah efforts.
So in this case, we have to appoint one person as an amir, and then after consulting all the brothers, we can just give the idea to the amir, so he can discuss.
Have mashur, like mashur. Have mashur. Look, I'm thinking about what y'all thinking. You get input from everybody. Everybody throw their hand in. Like we need to do this. They can do this. That's how the prophet did it. Whatnot. He got the best opinion from the brothers and about anything that they wanted to do collectively. You know what I'm saying? In terms of improving their da'wah efforts here. You know what I'm saying? Or to even get funded for some of the da'wah efforts from the people or from some of these charities. I don't know how it will work here. Like coming from America, we have our non-profit organizations. I'm here, submitting my documents to the charities here. Look, I'm trying to build a masjid. Can y'all help me? You see what I'm saying? So we're trying to improve the da'wah here. It's our little organization, and we need some help. Because we want to do this kind of program, we want to do this kind of program, we want to do some da'wah. Consult with the scholars. That's be part of the process too, to give you some ideas how to improve your da'wah, man. But it's definitely about da'wah, man. Inshallah. The more organized you are, the better. Yes, I mean.
Sheikh, sometimes, like when I said in the beginning, some of the brothers who revert to Islam, when they're like all of us, when you're like involved in something deeply, for example, music or like a relationship with a woman or something, it's difficult for them to leave this all at once. And because you're like not thinking like them, you feel that you want to talk with them, but in a quite a gentle way, so you don't scare them away. And sometimes you see that they're not leaving whatever they're doing, and they're not really responding very quickly to the obligations they have at the moment on their shoulders, like concerning the salah, and they might like miss the salah. They're not really into learning how to recite the Fatiha. And so you try to talk to them, but at the same point, you try to be like careful how you talk to them, so you don't really scare them away. So what's your advice?
Well, that's the challenge it's a challenge in the society, in the world today we live in. Whether it's in America, or whether it's in a Muslim country where you have all the different, distractions and temptations, even in a Muslim country. A brother embraces Islam, but he's still hanging on to some of the stuff before Islam. You see, it happened during the time of the Prophet Muhammad. And Aisha said, had the Prophet ﷺ, told the people or implemented certain laws, in the early phases of Islam, no one would follow him. You can't drink, you can't do that. So when the new Muslim come into Islam, you got to make some kind of judgments to help him, so he can, be able to let those things. Remember, the companions, it was their Imam. It was the Imam. They built in themselves that made them need those things. You see what I'm saying? So the brother embraced Islam because he felt good, he was excited. There was a group of people, they talked about Islam, he felt it, he embraced it. He wasn't even thinking about it. I can't drink no more. Well, most people, they know, okay? But relationships with women and things of that nature, if they got a long relationship, or especially have a child, encourage the brother to get married. I don't know if y'all got that here, but I'm just saying, alhamdulillah, you got to bring the brothers along. So you got to keep, don't stop giving them guidance, don't stop giving them advice. And when you see a problem, pull his coat in a nice way, continue to do it and whatnot, make do it for him, inshallah. Always let him know, brother. Had a young brother in the community not too long ago, in Long Island, and nice kid, and he had a baby out of wedlock, He had a baby out of wedlock, and he came to me, I said, SubhanAllah, man. I said, well, look, what you need to do, is give the girl dower, man. Bring her to me, give her dower, man. I said, I'm gonna be Muslim, she won't be Muslim, I'm gonna be Muslim. You understand? I said, you give her dower and then you marry her, man. You get one of your brothers to marry you, and give you a child, because it's your child, you know what I'm saying? So even though it's out of wedlock, but still, this is your child. Yeah, you can prove it's your child, but many ulama have spoken on this here, all right? And so alhamdulillah, but he didn't follow the advice. You see what I'm saying? And so one day he came to a community meeting. He had the baby with him. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to hide the brother's fault. There's nothing on the baby. You know what I'm saying? So I told him, brother, it's not good that you do that. Because that's your child, all right? But you make people start inquiring, well, brother's don't do that baby. You call people to talk, you cause a fitna. So better if Allah keep it hidden, keep it hidden. If you want, the woman ain't gonna be Muslim, let her go and leave her, you know what I'm saying, and just take care of the child. He's gonna say, well, move on. He said, don't bring the child in our face. When you had that baby out of wedlock, you know what I'm saying, with a kafir. You see what I'm saying? All right? So I'm still trying to cover the brother. I still like the brother. He was young, he made some mistakes, he's trying to get himself together. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes you gotta use some kind of tact, and you don't want to run him away. I didn't run him away. He really appreciated it. So just don't, don't give your daughter and whatnot. But don't bring him in front of us. Hey, y'all, look, I fornicated. Some little sister, maybe some other young sister see you and she might want to be interested in marriage. But I got to tell her, no, you can't. I got to tell her. You see what I'm saying? But when you do that openly, and that causes a problem. So he really appreciated it. I didn't run him away, man. I said, just you gotta be more discreet than that, man. You see what I'm saying? Inshallah. Yeah. So you should just advise the brothers and sisters, man. When they come in with ways, and be patient with them. Be patient with them. But keep, don't ever stop giving them advice. And try to encourage them to build upon their iman and their faith. So,
I think we'll take the last question, and after that,
Sheikh, I got a question for you. As I told you earlier today,
Yeah.
how do you deal with someone who's following Malachi? Malachi Z. York.
Yes. Well, you know, some people are stubborn, but you know, the guy Malachi, he's in jail, okay? He was a
Right.
fraud from the very beginning.
Right.
He was exposed many years, and Allah humiliated him and put him in jail for 90, I don't know,
90
for
some
life.
years.
Yeah.
Right.
But for the crime that he did, he was a pedophile, and all of that, all right? And so he played with the dean, so Allah punished him. Anybody follow him, they got to be a fool. Got to be a fool, okay? And sometimes you got to just tell people straight up, yeah, I've been trying to advise you. You following that? You see, so maybe you can give him some literature. You know what I'm saying? You know, to show how this man has been a fraud, so forth and so on. He don't have no Solomon no more.
Some of those people, their mind frame is that that's a conspiracy by the U.S. government to get rid of them.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean that's what I've heard. You know.
Okay. Like I said, man, you know, just give him the best advice you can, Yusuf.
Yeah.
Give him the best advice you can, and then you pay the ignorance and honorable avoidance, man.
Right.
But don't compromise with it. His head is in that. No, man, this is ignorance, man. This is surety. This is all of it.
Because I mean, as you know, he takes a little bit from each book, and he teaches that the Arabs don't understand the Arabic, and he's like, all prophets were black, and yeah.
All this foolishness, it's ignorance, man. It's ignorance. What it is you're dealing with? It's ignorance. And all right, so you got to equip yourself to be able to respond to him, and I mean, you know, to deal with it, or get someone that had more knowledge than you to talk to him and let him know, hey, man, you know, this is not from Islam. It's, you know, is he claiming to be a Muslim?
No.
Oh,
No. Well, there's two. One says he's a Muslim. One says he's a Muslim,
Yeah.
but then
See, if he believing in that stuff, he ain't no Muslim.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all.
Exactly.
So if he's that kind of brother, you know, you give him down and argue with him, man. Argue with him. All right, but if he claiming to be a Muslim and he believes in this part of Islam, I said, no, this is putting you out of Islam. Okay? You got to get to him straight. Tell him to come to the class with the brothers. You learn some Aqidah, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Jazakumullah khair, and I know that actually Sheikh have another engagement. So inshallah we're just gonna have the quick, you know, what do you call it? Light food and actually light treats. So inshallah we'll just
Nice being with y'all, man. I didn't know I was going to talk to y'all. Wonderful being with y'all, meeting all of y'all.
You too.
Bless y'all, make y'all strong here living in Kuwait. And I let all of you, so I'll be back. We'll see each other again. It's like a second home to me, you know what I'm saying? So I'll be coming back on a regular basis. The more the better. Again, inshallah, okay?
Okay.